Hello artists, we're already on week number 6. Last week everyone did such a great job doing the Japanese Yuzen fabric patterns on their koi fish. They look so beautiful. Keep up the great work. I love seeing everyone's drawings, all the colors. It's so great opening up my email and just seeing everyone's drawings in there. So keep up the great work. It looks awesome. So now what we're going to do, we were in Japan, now we're going to move over to Australia. That's right, artists, we're going to be going down under for week number 6. So what we're going to do is we are going to be looking at the Aboriginal artwork that was created many years ago. We're talking over 30,000 years ago, artwork was being created.
The Indigenous people of Australia are continuing their traditions. There wasn't any written language, so storytelling was how they learned about their history. Look at these examples of Aboriginal art painted on these rock walls. Notice the kangaroo leaping forward, lots of lines, cross-hatching inside of the body. And here we have hands that were placed on the wall and paint was sprayed over the top of them, leaving an imprint of the person's hand on the wall. Notice all the different size hands on the wall. Some of them could be the dad, some of them could be a mom, and there's even some smaller ones, so maybe it was their child, and they all had their hands on the wall and paint sprayed over the top. And they're still there today, hundreds of years later. Current Aboriginal artists paint many of these stories on canvas, pottery, and sculptures. Their artwork reflects important events through patterns and symbols. Some of these symbols represent animals, the environment, and people.
So now that you guys have learned a little bit of Australia, now we're going to go ahead and we are going to draw our warm-up. So remember, 10-minute warm-up, grab your paper, your pencil, and we're going to get started. So what we're going to do, this is a little different this time. You are going to look out your window and you're going to draw what you see outside your window. Now this is my view. As you guys know, that's outside my studio. And so what we're going to do is we are going to draw what we see outside of our very own window. You're going to notice outside your window, things far away are going to appear smaller. That doesn't mean they're actually that tiny, right? If you walk up to them, they're going to seem larger. Let's say you see a little tree far away. That little tree is probably not that little when you walk up to it, but that is perspective happening. Things in the distance, they appear smaller. Things close to us appear bigger. So my hand looks super big up close to you, and now it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's not really getting small though, right? My hand is my actual size, but it's just because it's closer to you, it appears bigger, and because now it's closer to me, it appears smaller, but my hand stayed the same size, right? It's not a interchangeable long hand when it's close to you and then tiny when it's far away. Same hand, just perspective happening. So now, with that in mind, if you're looking at my photo, just a little review. So I have some trees that are really far back there. They appear very small, and now these rocks appear very large because they are up close to us. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start to draw some of those big rocks up close. And don't worry, don't get frustrated when you're drawing. It doesn't have to look exactly like what's in front of you. Just try your best. This is a warm-up. It's a sketch. So we have no pressure here in making this look perfect. And you can see that doesn't look much like the photo, but it's my warm-up. It's okay. We're all good here. So now I have this hill that happens right about here. And then I start to have some of those trees. And we can start to go in, add some of those nice marks. Remember, we have our hatching. We can have a little bit of cross hatching for those denser areas. And we have a nice big tree up here that's behind our hill. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to start sketching in your warm-up. All right, go ahead and I'll see you guys soon.
So I'm starting to draw my view from my window here with my pencil so you guys can see how I'm applying the pencil to the paper, and I'm doing lots of mark making and also how loose I'm being. I noticed on the marker drawing it was loose but not a whole lot of lines, so I just want to show you guys how I want you to approach drawing this warm-up with your pencil. And you can see I'm doing lots of angles and I'm using a soft pressure when I'm applying it to my paper. And I'm just looking at all those interesting shapes and doing lots of little hatching marks and cross-hatching marks. And my pressure is staying really light. And if I want an area to be darker like I'm doing now, I just keep on layering my lines. And think of having different mark making in each section. So I'm doing the grass right now and lots of broad open strokes. And for the rocks, I'm having really angular, some sharp dark areas to light areas, so that's called contrast. And I'm just adding more layers of the graphite to increase the darkness. And also think of the angle your objects are. So let's say you're doing a rock and the rock is at an angle, so you want to have some horizontal lines going along that same direction of that angle. And just remember, with that perspective, these trees are far away, so they're going to be smaller. So when you're looking at your view out your window, if you see a tree far away, that tree is going to appear tinier on your drawing. And then if you have a tree that's close up, that's going to appear bigger. And you're going to notice that it's going to create an illusion of perspective, and it's going to have more of a realistic look to it. And just remember, layer your pencil marks on top of each other to increase the value, to increase the darkness, so you get a darker gray. And I see a horizon line that's kind of back there, so I'm just doing a few short lines. And my day is a little bit gray over here at the studio, so I'm just adding some very light lines in the sky. And for this gravel section, I'm going to be doing some scribble marks. So I'm just kind of going back and forth. And I'm changing how I'm holding onto my pencil, so I have a different line I'm creating with my marks. And you can see it's getting darker and darker. I'm not pushing down harder, I'm just layering more with my pencil. And this is how I want you guys to approach your sketch. Very loose, lots of lines, and don't worry about having extra lines somewhere. It's okay to keep those, and you can just work it in and just make it become part of the values. So you're going to continue with your drawing, your 10-minute sketch. And here you can see I have my finished drawing right here.
Once you have finished your warm-up drawing, you're going to go ahead and click on the next video.